You can start.
Welcome to the SIAC sit down.
Yes.
I am Slider Sports Guy, and I'm joined by the one and only Jamie Walker.
How you doing, Sly? How you doing?
Hey man, I'm doing great, man. Hey, it's another week. We're still working.
Y'all still working, man. This is you call it work though.
Having fun.
That's it, man.
Having fun. Having fun. Shout out to them kids down there in Albany.
Listen, baby. Listen, Al, baby, down there. Listen, they keep working.
Hey, look at you. Look at you. Hey, well, why not? Let's go ahead and jump all the way into this thing.
Let's talk about it then.
Last weekend in Albany, however you pronounce it.
Yep.
Down there in Georgia, middle Georgia, wherever. The Albany State Golden Rams took on the Benedict Tigers for the third time. The third time, and you see it on the screen. Shout out to Just Josh Sports at Just Josh Sports. You know, basically that's where all our graphics come from. They come from Just Josh.
Listen, Ja is the GOAT. Ja is the GOAT. Ja is one of those people. Listen, he's younger than us. He's able to put this stuff together all the time, and we're still learning. But Ja, on the other hand, we have those times where we need all kinds of stuff and things put together or whatever, and Ja already does it for the love of the SIAC. So you got to love for the love of HBCU football in general, and you'll hear more from Ja. I'm certain coming up. An opponent for a third time, you know each other well, very well. And I think when you're talking about just the squad or those two squads that played each other early, there was a blowout. You play each other a second time, the tendencies a little better. That team that lost the first time was able to do some things and get back in. It was a close game in the championship. When you play a team a third time, it's almost there. I think, my guy K. Ferg talked about it. I think he commented on it. Benedict needed a fourth time to go ahead and get this done, but the third time was not the charm. But Benedict kept it close. It was just one of those things, Sly, when you're talking about an offense that, for Benedict, who at times was just missing until the end of the game. They just did not have enough offensively. Kudos to that defense once again for keeping them in it by doing some special things, but they just could not get over the hump to defeat Albany State.
Yeah, they just couldn't get over the hump. But here's the one thing what I like to say. You look at this game, both of these teams coming into this game, they were known for great defenses.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them had great defenses. And I think, a lot of times if you don't see the high scoring game, you don't see the, 28 points apiece, you think, oh, it's a boring game. But I think this is a classic defensive struggle where you had two defensive coordinators going at each other. You had two defensive guys going at each other, making adjustments, making changes. You play you play somebody for the third time. You already know both teams know what each other gonna run.
True,
no secret. You know each other what they're running. So now you're just trying to figure out if you can figure out those right spots. Those where's this guy going to be? What can I call? When can I call this blitz? Can I call this blitz at this moment to make something happen? And I think both of them did a really good job of doing it. Because look at the score. The score 14. 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
So both of them did a great job of calling that game. Now, on the other side, you do want more out the offense.
Yes.
If you're Benedict, you want more out the offense.
You got to have it.
And I think, well, you know, we kind of break down the game a little bit. They started off, I think Ocean started at quarterback.
Yep.
And I think, I'm not quite sure, but I think they were going 2 series apiece.
Yeah.
And then he switched the quarterbacks up. He brought in Jensen. And, you know, here's the thing about the backup quarterback. The backup quarterback is always the most popular person on campus.
Very much so.
He's always the most popular person on campus because he's the backup quarterback. You know, especially if the starting quarterback ain't doing so well, everybody want the backup to play. But here go the thing. A lot of times when the backup quarterback get in there, he show you why he's the backup quarterback.
Indeed.
Show you why he ain't the starter. So Jensen came in, and Jensen didn't impress either.
No. And I think you saw bits and pieces of what he has to offer, being able to throw the ball. But I don't think in this game in particular, and I said this during the broadcast as well, I don't think we gave enough credit to the Albany State defense, even though they finished at the top of the SIAC as well, about what their abilities are. It was my first game calling a game for Albany State all year. And I'm going to tell you what, that back 7 of theirs is nasty. It was in Tyrell Gainey and Dayton Baker and others. Man, they are nasty. And they're going to need this. I know we're going to preview the game. They're going to need that nastiness going against this Newberry squad. But, you know, anything passing-wise that Benedict tried to do, couldn't handle it. In fact, it was the running game that got them back into the game towards the end of the game.
True.
You know, David Smith, you know, carried the ball that last offensive drive for Benedict to even keep it close. So it was one of those things, man. I don't think we gave Albany State enough credit. We talked about the nastiness of Benedict, and rightfully so. You know, you got, you know, the likes of Demetrius Patterson, Israel Nwokocha, and others. Stevens played a whale of a game as well.
He did.
You know, from that linebacker position, because he kind of everything covered, you know, sacked, which man. And I know you love defensive football.
They cleared the game off. That first drive of the game, it was like Albany State decided to go for it on 4th down. Stevens got in there and boop, popped out.
And you could not ask for a better start if you were Benedict, but could not convert offensively. And again, when it comes to what they're able to, what they lacked offensively and being able to turn those points or turn those defensive, you know, those outstanding defensive plays into something instant, you know, it just left a lot to be desired. And I think that could have bode well, especially if you could have gotten an early touchdown, but you ended up giving Albany State the football back. You played the field position game, which was really good. I think strategizing, just the strategy going into that, that particular school of thought, being able to punt the ball and keeping Albany State in bad field position the entire game. It was a perfect scenario. Had you been able to score.
And that's the thing, man. You would want, and I know, you know, quite a few of my people, you know, from Columbia and Benedict fans, man, they're kind of really upset. Like you said, with the punter just placed the Benedict defense in great places.
Yes.
And you know, and Benedict defense did great jobs. But give it up to Albany State's punter too. Albany State punter kicked Albany State out of some problems himself. He had some deep punts to kick Albany State out of some problems. And then that Albany State defense, like you said, that back 7. This was my first time seeing Albany State live. You know, you watch them on the film, you watch the film and you see it, and you take stuff for granted when you watch it on film. But when you see Albany State up close, you see they're a physical team.
They are.
They're a physical team. They're fast. They fly to the ball. You know, they seem to be in the right place. And I give a lot of that to coaching. I give, you know, because we're still dealing with kids.
Yes.
You know, we're still dealing, you know, maybe 22 years old, you know, 18 to 22 years old. Well, I don't know. COVID and transfer portal. It might be 24, 25 out
We'll talk about it. You know, it's for lobbying for extra years. Nonetheless, man.
But the fact that they're they're in the right place all the time. That Albany State defense is always in the right place. So I give a lot of that to coaching. That's not athleticism. That's just coaching. And so when you got a team like that, you got to capitalize every time you get a chance because you're not going to get too many chances. You're not going to get too many breaks. And Benedict couldn't capitalize.
Couldn't, man.
They couldn't capitalize, man. We pull up some numbers from this game, man. And like you say, when you have such a strong defense, the offense ain't gonna show up. So we're looking at the stats. You're gonna look at our rushing. Benedict rushed for 140 yards, 27 attempts. Albany State on the other side, they rushed for 92 yards, 45. So 45 attempts. I didn't know they rushed that many times.
Yeah.
They ran a lot. But show you defense, Benedict defense held them under 100 yards.
They did.
Now you go over on the passing side. Isaiah Knowles, beautiful game.
Yeah.
He threw for 244 yards. He was 19 for 29, threw for a touchdown, no interceptions.
That is amazing, man.
Against that defense, that is amazing. But here's the thing that throws me off. Benedict as a team threw for 46 yards. 8 for 27, 5 yards of completion, 1.7 yards an attempt. You can't beat nobody throwing for 46 yards. Jensen Jackson was 6 for 12 for 39 yards. Darius Ocean was 2 for 50. God damn. He was 2 for 15 for 7 yards. You can't win.
No.
You can't win like that. Man, little league teams, man. When my kid played little league, they threw for more than 50 yards. You can't beat anybody throwing. Even the teams that ran the wishbone, you take Bill Switzer's home teams, they threw for more than 50 yards.
Because you're going to get one of these deep running the football effectively. So, yeah.
And I will, I don't want to be the guy to crap on the quarterback all the time. Benedict receivers dropped a few passes themselves. They dropped a few passes themselves.
They did. Some of the impact players we thought would impact. You did have early drops, late drops, just drops all around the field. But Sly, you're exactly right, man. After the Wingate game, where Benedict's approach was to bring in Jackson Jensen and kind of give them a spark, it didn't happen. It didn't happen like they thought it would. You saw them move the football maybe a little bit more, and then Albany State adjusted to that passing. So it was one of those things where, yeah, they you saw a little bit more, I guess, offensively and being able to move the ball, but just not a consistent enough passing game to be able to do much of anything. So, yeah, it was a great game plan, but just you reading those stats on Isaiah Knowles for a second, it did not appear that he threw for that many yards, especially with their balance, because they kept running the football. And you see, once again, Isaiah Knowles being the offensive player of the year in the SIAC. It did not appear that the passing game was the focal point of what the offense was going to be. But we were on a call this week with Coach Quinn Gray. And he talked about that. He talked about we do whatever we need to do game, and that's exactly what happened when they went into this game. They ran the ball with Tion Weiss didn't even start. It was McCrary that started.
Yep, McCrary started,
and so just that 1-2 punch throughout the game. And I gotta give him his props as well. Jamil Williams, listen, started out the wide receiver, played some running back as the game plan kind of changed. Quinn Gray saw that he was the hot hand, so he started, dealing up some plays to get him the ball in space. It was a beautiful game plan, especially to close out the game. But give that team a whole lot of credit, man. Their balance just did it.
And what I like, what Albany State did, I'm a big proponent on what you do on that final drive. When they need you,
yes,
when they need that offense to step up, they need someone to step up. Benedict scores. Scores 12 to 14. Now here goes my problem also with that score.
Tell me your problem.
This is my problem. You kick 2 field goals You got 6 points. You go down the field. You're driving down the field to tie the game up. The only way you get tied up is if you go for 2.
Yeah.
So no matter what, you know you're going for 2. You know I'm going for 2 once I scored his touchdown. So what happens, Benedict scores the touchdown, and they don't have a play ready going for 2. They don't have anything ready, and they have to burn the timeout. And that comes back to hunt you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing. It's easy for me to sit in this seat and be a Sunday morning coach. It's easy for me to be a Sunday morning coach. But back in the day, long time ago, when I coached, it was imperative as a staff that we worked on 5 2-point conversion plays every week. Mm-hmm. Every week we're working on these 5 2-point conversion plays. And that's so we'll know those plays. So when it comes down to it, we're going to choose one of these 5. We're going to know one of these 5 plays. You know, some teams might do 10 every week they work on in practice. But when Benedict scored that touchdown, they weren't ready to run the 2-point conversion.
Which kills the momentum of what you had already done.
Kills the momentum of what you did, but even more important than the momentum, they had to burn a timeout.
Yes.
They had to lose a timeout. And because they lost that timeout, they gave Albany the ball back with 3.5 minutes to go. Mm-hmm. You know, your offense can't really move the ball down the field. So you need that timeout just in case. You need that timeout just in case. And now kudos to Albany. They had to make Benedict burn the timeout.
Yep.
They had one timeout left. So Albany figures we got to get about 2 first downs or get to the 2-minute warning. Mm-hmm. And then once they burn that timeout, game over.
Yeah, it was.
They ran a couple of plays, but then I want to say it was 2nd and long, I think. Maybe 2nd and 7 or something like that. Yep. Isaiah Knowles kind of waited through to his left side.
Yep.
The wide receiver, I don't know the wide
Stewart.
It was a
nice to catch on the left side. Yes.
He ran, I think he ran a 10-yard stop or maybe a 10-yard curl or something like that. And Knowles hit him.
Yes.
And what that young man did, he ran the route far enough so he had the first down when he caught it. And when he caught it, he turned to the outside, but instead of going out of bounds, he fell down.
Yep.
And that's your ball game.
Intelligent football play.
That's your ball game.
Because you get in those situations, situational football. You know you have them on the heels. They had to burn one timeout. Once that play happened, it was over. Game was over at that point. And I mean, they couldn't stop the clock, run the ball a couple of times. Now, I'll tell you what, that was some gutsy because I think on the next play, they ran the option. Ran the option to the left. Now, I'll tell you what, hey, gutsy call, but again, they did what they needed to do to run the clock out, and Benedict couldn't do anything else.
It couldn't do anything, and that's something that I base a championship team on. If you're a championship team, you're going to make the plays when you need to make the plays. When it's crunch time and I need you to do this, it ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. And if they go out there and do what they're supposed to do in crunch time, that's a championship team, man. And I like that with Auburn. They showed why, hey, we beat this team 2 times, and now it's the 3rd time. We're a better team.
For sure.
And that's what they proved. They just proved that they're a better team. So kudos to Albany State, and they go in advance.
They are. Quarterfinal time.
Quarterfinal time, man. Quarterfinal time. You know, I know everybody wants us to break down the Newberry game, but, you know, we still got some other things we want to talk about. Right now, around this time is the offseason. Everybody getting ready to come back and work out in the offseason. Well, I guess everybody ain't coming back. It's this thing called a transfer portal.
Uh-oh. You want me to go find that soapbox? You want to go find?
You know, I'm gonna get on my soapbox in a little bit about the transfer portal. I may hurt somebody's feelings in a little bit about the transfer portal.
Okay.
But I got to talk about it, man. There's a lot of kids, man. A lot of kids out there in the SIAC are making their way. They're making their way, and it's a two-edged sword.
It is.
You know, the transfer portal gives and it takes away. You know, you have a lot of these schools, they rely on some D1 washbacks of fallbacks or whatever you want to call it, and they step up and make a good contribution. They have some teams that have some D2 players that come from another school and want to come to a better situation. And so a lot of these teams rely on that transfer portal, but that transfer portal can hurt a lot of teams too.
Absolutely.
You can lose some studs.
You do end up losing some studs. It just depends. This of the way the portal works, in conjunction with social media, because all day I have seen everybody's highlight tape. Some that I've been on.
Yeah.
Crazy.
When I'm listening to highlight tape, please tag me. Tag me. Let me know that's me on the mic.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody, you listen. Hey, we might as well take advantage of these opportunities. You know, sis, you know, and I hope you get it. But yeah, man. It's always been a thing. People have looked for quote unquote better opportunities, different opportunities. You know, the money has definitely increased.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking for that next spot or whatever. Some people are being pushed
Some people
into the portal as well. So I'm going to give credit everywhere in every aspect. But I think when it comes to the portal, you're right. It giveth and it taketh away. But as people are trying to, I think a coach once said, you elevated or terminated. I think it applies to
yes, sir.
the student athlete as well. And I think in their eyes, because we love this conference, you know, we wouldn't cover it if it was about the money or anything. But understand there's no money per se in it, but the love of it. But when it comes to others, there are opportunities that people have, and I'm no one to tell them what they should do when it comes to their family and any decisions of that nature.
Exactly.
I think some people
need to think this through, man. And look at this, man. I'm gonna be honest. Let me put my glasses on. I'll be honest with some of you kids out there. Some of you kids don't belong in the transfer.
Adjust the mic for it, man. You clear.
You don't belong in the transfer portal. Let's just be honest. Some of you kids, man, when I look and I'm going down Twitter and Instagram and I'm seeing you looking for a home. You say, I'm looking for a home. I got 2 years of eligibility. I got 3 years of eligibility. I got 4 years of eligibility. And I'm looking at you put out your highlight tapes. And your highlight tapes are nothing but practice tapes. Maybe your ass don't need to leave. If you can show me you out on the field playing ball against somebody, you showing me practice highlight tapes, you might want to sit down and wait another year till you get some real tape. You know, some of y'all, just be honest. If you're a Division II practice player, where do you think you're transferring to? Really wants you. And this is the thing about a lot of guys from Division II who want to transfer. You want to transfer, you want to step up. Right now, the Division I guys aren't out there yet. Nope. They aren't out there yet. They're still waiting for bowl season. They're waiting for their season to officially end and all of that. So those Division I coaches that you may get a shot at, they're not looking at you. They're saying, okay, let me see who falls in my conference rivals. Let me see where these SEC guys are going to go. Let me see where this Big Ten kid is going to go. Let me try my shot at him. Then let me try my shot at the 1AA kid. I'm sorry, FCS. Let me try my shot at the FCS kid. Let me see where he's going to go. Then let me try my shot at a JUCO kid. Let me try my shot at a JUCO kid.
Yep.
Then maybe they might say, okay, we might have something left over for one D1 guy. The D2 guys. The D2 guys who move up to D1, those are the special ones. I know everybody think they're special, and nowadays when everybody get a trophy, your mama told you was special. But some of y'all ain't special. Let's just be honest. Some of y'all ain't special. The kid from Allen who went to Texas Tech, he's special. He's special. The kid from Morehouse, the tight end from Morehouse, the Vanderbilt, special.
He is special.
But hell, he was already a D1 kid.
Mhm.
With the Army and came to Morehouse. He's special. Some of you kids, y'all not special. So you might want to sit down. You might want to play another year at D2. Increase your stock. I know it's some freshmen out there who want to get the transfer portal. They had some success in D2. Not even all conference success. They had some success. All right. But now they think, okay, I can get to the portal and I can go AA. I can go FCS now. But what you don't realize is maybe if you come back to this D2 school, maybe you come back to this D2 school and you get a chance to be the one on display. You get a chance to showcase all your skills instead of you hoping on going to FCS. You may have played yourself into a better position and you can go to FBS. And my thing is, I'm not going, if you're a D2 kid and you're thinking about hopping into the transfer portal to go to another D2 school, you're wasting your time.
Go sit down.
Go sit down.
Go sit down somewhere. And I think what you said is absolutely correct. I understand the choice of doing certain things and marketing yourself, especially in this self-promotion era. I mean, it's always been there, and the opportunities lay there as well. But you got to understand certain things as well. You have to understand that coaches' jobs are on the line, and they feel, a lot of them feel, even though I've heard a few, of development and getting guys out of high school. At the same time, if your job is on the line and they've had some experience playing somewhere, especially with those that they determine are or they feel are more ready, then they're going to go there first. There are people that are going to live, coaches and staffs are going to live in the portal. You an opportunity, which you're getting exposure, you're getting what you need at your D2 spot. Stay there. It'll come. And I understand people trying to maximize their opportunities to get exposed to whatever professional league. But take an Emmanuel Wilson for example, who's doing his thing up in Green Bay. Okay. You have examples of those. Josh Williams from Fayetteville State. That they're able to do that. They subscribe to the notion that if you are talented enough, they will find you. I do subscribe to that notion. But at the same time, what you don't want to do is transfer and get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
You do not want to do that. And I think you have to think about the opportunity that may be there, but then coaches have the right to say, once you jump in there, I don't have to have you back. So just think. That's all.
And that's my thing, man. I do, and I don't want anybody to think I'm anti-transfer. And anybody to think I'm anti-transfer, because if you are good enough, and if somebody is offering you money, if you have a school that is legitimately offering you money to go to their school for you to get that NIL, man, you better kick rocks.
Absolutely.
Tell kids, especially more basketball than football, because you can play overseas and stuff like basketball. I tell people, hey man, try not to get a real job as long as possible.
Absolutely.
Try not to get a real job as long as possible.
The greatest marketability that you have right now, if you are a good player in whatever league, is right now.
And bring in Steven.
Is right now.
Well, check this out, man. I think we said this was a crossover episode.
We did.
We said it was a crossover episode, so we're going to bring in the boss. We're going to bring in the head, the founder of HBCU Game Day.
Because, me and Steven, we have a love-hate relationship, as because
he went to that radio school, right?
To that radio school down in Forsyth County. I think somewhere.
It's a school, right? I mean, they are a school that are
accredited. They have all the things. They produce wonderful, journalists. You know what I'm saying?
Wonderful. Wow. We can't hear him.
Can't hear you, Steven.
You gotta unmute yourself. See, it might not be a great school. He can't unmute himself. Well,
yeah, yes, we can.
Talking about this transfer portal, man. Hopefully, I don't cost anybody getting fined by saying some of these kids just ain't ready. But that's how I feel, Steve. Mm.
They are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah. but see, that's my thing, man. I think right now you're wasting your time. You're wasting, and if you're transferring and you're not transferring to someplace where you're getting paid, um, it's a waste of time. Now, I do understand, and there's exceptions to every rule. If you're coming from, a school, a private school is charging you $50,000 a year, and you got to come out of your pocket. You got to come out of your pocket. Now you're paying, $15,000 to cover what the scholarships and stuff don't do, and you're going to go to another D2 school that's a public school, and now you only got to come out of your pocket $1,000. Okay, you made the right decision. That's a good business decision. That's a good business decision. But if you're just going from private school to private school and your money's not changing, is the money part isn't changing, you just think you're gonna get a better look, or you're mad because you're not getting any playing time. Well, you probably wasting your time. You're probably wasting your time, man. And that's why I think you got to move up. And I don't have any problem with anybody. I salute the kids if they coming from D2 and they go to a Power Four. They go ACC, SEC, whatever, and they getting a check. They getting a check. Hey, man, I salute those kids. I salute those kids a lot. Hell, I'm jealous. I wish I could. I wish I could be one of them.
Yeah. Now, Steven, I got to ask you a question about one of your Salem State, because I saw him firsthand, one of those transfers, Dalen Lee. Now, has he landed yet? So he put his paperwork in early. One of those quarterbacks that I saw almost beat my alma mater. And so you think he will land? I haven't seen him get a landing spot yet. Oh, he might. Okay.
Well, we talk about something in the SIAC. We have we already talked about the young man from Allen. I forgot his name already. I forgot the kid from Allen.
Defensive end. Going jumping from going to Texas Tech, and I get it. I 100% get it.
We talked about Vinay from Morehouse, the tight end. He's decided to go to Vanderbilt. Now, it's a couple of names out there. A couple of people put their name in the transfer portal. The wide receiver from Kentucky State, Hale. Jordan, I think his name Jaden Hale from Kentucky State. He's put his name in the transfer portal. Jaden Hale, good receiver. Really good receiver. He is. Hold on a second, man. What is my producer doing? What is my producer doing? I gave you the name. I'm always talking transfer report. Man, I'm gonna fire this producer, man. It's a good thing we get him cheap. Thank you. Thank you for putting up his stuff. Jaden Hale, he's jumped into the transfer portal. Another kid actually found the landing spot already. Xavier Esquilin from Savannah State.
Yes.
He's going to Georgia State. He's coming to Atlanta. Good move, I guess.
I mean, again, if it was what Steven described as just a better financial situation, absolutely. Definitely closer to home, because I think he's a local kid.
I think so.
Yeah. So closer to home. Some advantages in it. So may have made the right move, but I could get with it.
Yep. Who else is out there? Eric Searcy from Clark, Atlanta. Eric Searcy from Clark, Atlanta. He's put himself into the transfer portal. I like Searcy.
Yeah,
I like Searcy. Searcy's kid from Hateville, Charlotte, Atlanta kid. I don't know where he's gonna go.
We'll see. I mean, you can see the stats right there. I mean, he's done well for himself. He was on a tear his freshman year. I mean, you can see the potential, and he's done well this year. So it'll be interesting to see if there's a place to land for him as well.
Jackson Williams from Benedict, the return guy. You know, he's put himself out there in the transfer portal. Now he's a speedster.
He is.
He's an electric kid. He hadn't showed me a lot as a receiver, but maybe that's because the quarterback he was playing with.
It possibly could be. I think he is electric, man. I think he is one of those receivers that can absolutely spread the field. He can catch it. I called a game with him, Clark Atlanta, against Clark Atlanta, and he had a kickoff return along with that touchdown catch.
Yeah.
So he's electrifying.
Yeah.
May have been a situation where quarterback play comes in the play.
Maybe go somewhere with a good quarterback. He might be all right. Who else out there? Navy Curry from Kentucky State. He's another one out there, and I think he has earned himself a shot to play somewhere a little bit higher up. Man, Navy plays corner, led the conference in interceptions. Had 5 interceptions on the year. I think Navy Curry is one of those guys, though. If he goes, I think he has potential to go D1 somewhere because he can be used in a variety of places. If you're a college coach, you can say, okay, I'm picking you up as a cornerback, but I may need you to play receiver. I may need you to return a kick. I may need you to play safety. I think he's a guy that they can put in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
Navy Curry.
Yep, that's why they got athlete up there.
Yeah, that's why they got athlete
because he can do a lot, man. You talking about somebody starting off as a quarterback, ended up as a really good corner in the SIAC. Yeah, there's some things you can do with him.
Shout out to Just Josh Sports one more time. Just Josh Sports, doing all the graphics, all the hard work on the graphics. He did all the hard work on the graphics. Because we didn't. We not gonna do all that. That ain't what we do.
Steven said he ready to come back.
All right, Steven ready to come back. Let's bring Steven back.
All right, you guys can hear me now?
So I think that was the issue.
All right, so I might as well give you mute. If you mute you guys, you won't get that feedback. It's still giving major feedback. So
I'm gonna mute it.
all right, I got you. Yeah, just let them roll.
Okay, so look like they're still working on that. That's okay. But again, when you're talking about the transfer portal in general, he was one of the names I was looking at as far as a quarterback transferring around. And right now, you don't see that. I actually have kind of witnessed some quarterbacks that have been in other places besides the SIAC, besides HBCUs, period. The kid Holmes from Wingate, they lost their top receiver, rusher, and quarterback to the portal. So it is not just an SIAC thing. It is a Division II thing all around. And again, I think we had discussion about quarterback play within the Division II ranks.
Mm-hmm.
You can see other people may think so too. So I think you'll see a lot more quarterbacks coming in to the portal, hoping to go to the Division I route, FCS route, whatever.
Yeah, matter of fact, that kid from West Florida.
Yes, he was in the portal.
Kid from West Florida, he's in the portal, but was a projected Division I player to start off. I wish I knew his name, but he got caught up. He was singing a rap and said the N word a little too hard.
Yeah, just
emphasized it. Yeah.
Just a little bit.
So putting it up at West Florida. As a matter of fact, they offered him at Albany State.
Mm-hmm.
But the higher up said, "No, you ain't coming here.
No player.
You ain't coming here, player." But yeah, man, the transfer portal, man, it giveth and it taketh, man. And I just truly think a lot of these kids making some of these decisions need to think a little bit harder. And then now that they can have agents, and this is the tricky part about having agents. A lot of these kids have agents, but they aren't really certified agents. They, somebody uncle said, "Hey, I'm gonna be an agent." Somebody lied to your mama and said, "Hey, man, your baby got a chance to make it. Sign this contract with me. I'm only gonna take 40% of what you get." Stuff like that. They sign these contracts and they telling these kids they can go and get. So it's just basically a loan shot.
Yes.
You tell a kid, "Hey, you can go Division I. I'm gonna help you go Division I." And what they do, if the kid does make it, he does get some type of NIL money, that agent gonna get it. If he doesn't get anything, hey, the agent doesn't lose anything.
No.
He doesn't. He might have lost a little bit of time, And I just think that is a little bit of the problem now, because the NCAA got so many problems, so many issues when it comes to NIL that they don't know how to control. They didn't see a lot of this shit happen. Excuse me, they didn't see a lot of this stuff happen. I'm sorry, but now that it happened, they don't know how to control it. They don't know how to fix it. And so I think one thing with the agents, I think the agents should all have to go through some type of certification. I don't think you necessarily need a degree to be an agent. Right. You do need some type of certification to be an agent.
I think that's the next step in this process, though, because when you everything that the agent can do right now, that an agent can do, especially within the collegiate ranks, somebody else can do. The average Joe can do. You can market yourself.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You can put your own highlights on social media. It makes it a little more easier because that's all you're trying to do. You're not cutting deals necessarily with NIL initially. You're just trying to get to another school. And that only takes somebody discovering you from the other end. So you're signing with anybody that is so beneficial that it actually helps. It's not one of those things where it's so necessary to do within this as well. And then, just the thought process behind the NCAA, who was not proactive in any of this and saw it come down the pipe. And they've been getting their butts whooped in court so much that they can't do anything. Like, oh, well, I guess we'll do this then. It's reactive instead of proactive, and this is where we are now. And Wild Wild West.
All this could have been avoided. It all could have been avoided years ago when the O'Bannon brother brought the suit up. When he first brought the suit up, the NCAA signed this mega deal with the original BCS championship or whatever for $1 billion. I don't know what they signed it for, but they signed it for a whole lot more money than I got. If they would have decided at that moment, we're going to give every athlete, if you are a full scholarship athlete, we're going to give every athlete $500 a month. We'll give you $500 a month, and now you will be a paid athlete. They wouldn't have had this problem right now.
Just give them some money.
If they would have just gave every athlete $500, maybe $1,000. I don't know what the deal was, what the magic number was. But if you give every athlete, I'm talking about the athlete, if you're a Division I athlete, if you're from Georgia all the way down to Georgia State, everybody got that money as long as they're Division I. You wouldn't have these problems right now.
And trying to protect the amateurism model is something that end up just backfiring. They aren't amateurs anymore. They are not. And so just treat them as such. If it is reflecting a professional level of things and money is being exchanged, go ahead and work the thing out. What they do not want to do, though, and this kind of hurts HBCUs in general, treat it as employees. Because once you're subject to be taxed. You're subject to have everything going on. And I don't think they want to be that responsible in that. And everybody doesn't make money from this. Like everybody thinks it's this huge.
My thing, the NCAA will pay them.
Yes.
The NCAA should pay them because you just signed a a $1 billion contract, and you're getting that contract. You're not having to actually. You just sold the rights.
Yes.
To call this thing the national championship. So it's not like you're putting out money. You're spending $900 million so you can get that $1 billion. They gave you $1 billion over the next however many years.
Yep.
So you can afford to cut out. If you give, I don't know how many student athletes is here, but let's say it's $50 million a year that they got to spend just for student athletes. You got $1 billion,
right?
You ain't going to the poor, and it's already a nonprofit. NCAA is already a nonprofit, organization.
Yeah. And to protect that status, I think this is where you get the mixture of so many other things that go on, trying to stay under the radar so that you are not considered a business, and you got to start delving out some money to the government. So keep it a buck. They're trying to keep this amateurism sham, but it's not anymore.
It's not.
The toothpaste is out the tube now. You can't put it back in.
All right. Well, we talked enough about the transfer portal because it's getting my blood pressure going. Getting my blood pressure going up. We talk about these fake agents and kids getting in transfer portal who don't belong in there. I'm getting my blood pressure up. We need to talk about what we came here for.
What we come here for?
This would be considered the
quarterfinals.
The quarterfinals of the Division II playoffs. Albany State, Albany, either one, however you pronounce it.
Depending on where you're from.
Will be taking on the Newberry Wolves.
From your neck of the woods.
This is going to be a good one. Newberry defeated Albany State 24-17. They had a touchdown in the with like almost 5 minutes to go to kind of put them on top and seal that thing off for them. Newberry and their high-powered offense, they're led by their quarterback, Reed Shapira. I hope I'm Sharpia. Reed Sharpia. He's a graduate senior. Kid played at Brooklyn Casey High School in Columbia, right across the river, right there in West Columbia. But Reed Sharpia, he was actually the SAC Offensive Player of the Year. Reed Sharpia. Oh, look at Deuce coming in on time.
Man, look at him.
Deuce coming in on time.
I mean, it's everything, sir.
This young man, he had let's see what he did this game. 27 for 43 for 416 yards.
Yep.
2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. The boy threw the ball.
Yeah.
The boy threw the ball, and he moved around. Keith Desashore, another player from Newberry. He's a receiver.
He is.
Keith Desashore is one of the Newberry guys who made all conference. SAC, Keith Desashore. He ended up that game. He had 7 receptions, 107 yards, 1 touchdown. Had another kid had 5 receptions, another kid with 5 receptions, 4 receptions, and Quez Spells, he had 2 receptions for 90 yards. The man spreads the ball around.
He does.
Let's see here. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people catch the ball. 9 people caught a pass for him, man. The kid spread it around. And what I like about him, I got to see him when they played Kentucky State. So I got to see him up close and personal. He's not a very big guy. They got him listed at 5'11". So that means he's probably 5'8".
Yep.
He's probably 5'8". But he's quick. Fast guy. They ran a couple of read options and, poked up the middle, got some big pickups on that one. But what he does, because he's not a very big kid, they will roll out the pocket. He'll kind of waggle action, and he does this better than I've seen a lot of people do it. He will float toward the sideline, float, till he's about 2-3 yards from the sideline. And then when his receivers break or make their way back to him or whatever, he'll throw a pinpoint pass. He throws a pinpoint pass, he hits them, and boom, picks up a first down. Right when you think you had a sack, he did all of that to get out of the sack, man.
Yeah, he doesn't need much room at all to throw the ball. Reminds me of those quarterbacks that can just throw with the flick of a wrist, man. And what you said about him being able to move, he's not a big guy, but what he is, and you talk about his running ability, he is always running to pass. not necessarily running for yardage, even though they do set up some things for him to run. He is always eyes upfield and always looking for that open receiver, and it doesn't take much at all. I know we talk about, the one of the guys that is controversial, but I compare him to like a Brett Favre being able to throw the ball out quick. Aaron Rodgers, who doesn't need much room at all. To just get the ball out. Or back in the day, he didn't anyway. Now that's a little different. But yeah, and so Sharpie actually will spread the ball out. You even included Quez Spells in that, who is their running back. He's primary running back.
Yep.
So everybody has to catch the ball in that offense.
And that's the thing. They don't run the ball a lot. Their two rushes had right around 300 yards for the year. Both rushes had right around 300 yards for the regular season. So they're not going to sit up there and run straight over you. But they are a physical team on defense.
Yes.
On defense, like I said, I got to see that Kentucky State game, and they took matter of fact, they took Denham Johnson out the game. They hit some people would say it might have been a late hit. They threw a flag. That defensive end took the 2 extra steps.
Yeah.
Took the 2 extra steps. But I'm a proponent, man. Hey, sometimes you just gotta hit somebody.
Yeah.
You gotta hit somebody, put that lick out, let them know you're here. Sometimes you take them 15 yards early in the game.
You do. And I think this is the thing, though, about this matchup in particular. We talk about the stats, and I don't know if you wanted to go a little bit deeper into it defensively, but Albany State, we talked about what they did last game, and this matchup is intriguing. I'm going to throw in the X factor already.
Uh-oh. Throw it in.
Ooh, it might rain. It's supposed to. It is supposed to rain, which will be interesting for that passing game, the Newberry Wolves. Now, what I will also tell you is they are very susceptible to giving up running yards.
Yeah.
Lots.
That falls into what Albany State, because Albany State is a well-balanced team.
They are.
They are a well-balanced team with Tion Weiss. He can run the ball. I think he only had 50 yards or something like that against Benedict, but once again, that's Benedict.
Yep.
All right. But the man runs the ball. He runs the ball. He's a good back. And then the backup back.
I'm talking about McCrary.
McCrary is another balanced back. And that's what I like about Albany State and what Queen Gray does. Queen Gray, he understands, hey, I got the best quarterback in the league. He gets that. But he says, I got these 2 good running backs too. So I can mix this thing up. And we talked about it on the conference call earlier this week, him being a former quarterback. I know former quarterbacks want to throw that thing around. But he says, hey, man, I'm going to do what it takes to win.
Right.
I'm going to call the right play so I can win this thing. And I think he understands that, okay, I can run the ball now. Now it's time for me to run the ball. Or I understand, okay, now it's time for me to throw that thing. So I like how he mixes it up, and I think they're going to have to rely a little bit more on the run, because I think Newberry will give up that run. I think they'll give up the ghost on the run, because Kentucky State, their back actually had 90-some yards.
So you talking about Elsie?
Yeah, that's 90-some yards.
Wow.
I think he had 98 because he was right there at 100. Elsie had 98 yards. So, now Kentucky State has a big line. They have one of the better offensive lines, but Albany State offensive line ain't no joke.
No, they're not. Noah Stovall and that entire company, man, is good.
So I am curious as to see how they're going to match up. But my curiosity is how Albany State's secondary is going to match up. Albany State has one of the better secondaries out there. They do. They can defend against the pass, but they've never seen anybody like Shapiro.
No, they
haven't seen anybody. I pulled up his stats right here. He threw for right now he's at 3,396 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions on the year. Here's the tricky part to that equation right there. Here's the tricky part. He's at 4 interceptions on the year. The last game of the season, he had only thrown 1. He was at 23 touchdowns and 1 interception. So the past 2 games, he's thrown 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So I don't know. Maybe seeing a little bit better competition,
Yes.
forcing him into some mistakes he hadn't made before.
Well, you talking about playoff teams.
It's playoff team.
And, you know, these coaches are good. These coaches are good. You don't get into the playoffs, you know, being a bad coach team or you know, playing teams that don't have the ability to game plan. So yeah, he's seen better competition and they're game planning for him specifically. Again, when you're talking about the way he's able to spread the ball, he spreads the ball to 4 receivers and the running backs as well. So it is a thing. You got Desashore, who is absolutely one of the best receivers in the SAC. But you're going into better teams and better competition. And I think Albany State, we talked about that back seven earlier. They have the ability to defend the pass. I think you saw that against Benedict. I think you saw that even against Valdosta State. Even though Valdosta State was able to score some points, they are a good defensive squad. So, you know, this will be an interesting matchup, and I think if you throw in a couple of X factors, because again, you've been playing in all sorts of elements all year. We'll see because Newman's offense is predicated upon being able to throw the ball all around the yard. They'll throw the short passing game, and you know those receivers get those yards after catch. But along with that, they are able to they'll run the ball in spots. But if weather's a factor and they can't throw the ball all around, that spells trouble for them and how they get their offense cranking because they throw the ball to set up their run. It's usually the other way around. We'll see what happens if there's any kind of rain. And I know that Albany State can run the football. It used to be, it's kind of condensed down to more of a two-headed monster. Now, I mean, it was a three-headed monster. Now more of a two with Reich and McCrary. We'll see if that continues because they do have the ability to run the ball. And don't forget about Isaiah Knowles and him as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, Knowles can pick it up and put it down too. And now here's the here's the thing. I love the play. I like when it's raining. So now you can't be so pass happy. You got to sit down and run. But you got to remember, they're also playing on turf.
Yes.
And these aren't the days of old when you play on grass and those cleats could kind of dig into the dirt a little bit. But that turf is slippery.
Yes, it is.
And the kids now have the molded cleats. They don't have the adjustable cleats. I don't know if like when I played, we had cleats where we could actually change the cleat.
Yep.
We changed the cleat and we played certain places that were, with longer spikes. So we would get longer spikes. We played certain places when we played on that old turf, it looked like a carpet, basically. You would take the cleats out. And you
just put on regular tennis shoes or just regular shoes.
Exactly. Exactly. So now I don't know if they can actually do that with the cleats that these kids have now. I don't know how that works out with them now. But if you're gonna run the ball, you're gonna have to have good footing. You're gonna have to be ready playing on that wet turf. You got to understand how to plant, and you can't let that turf monster jump up there and grab that ankle.
Absolutely. And even from the Albany standpoint, Isaiah Knowles, the ball slipped out his hands a couple times in that game. That was interesting. The empty hand showed itself a few times. So
he was getting hit though.
He was.
He got hit though.
He was.
Them monsters went up there and hit him. They did. It just came out of
pressure, bust pipes sometimes, and
that's all the time. Pressure gonna do one or two things. It's gonna bust pipes. It's gonna make diamonds.
That's it.
You're gonna figure out if you're gonna be a diamond or you're gonna be a busted pipe.
This is true.
So it's this will be a good one. It will be a good one. All the people out in the comments, I see you out there. And Blue Jacket for Life, he asks if Georgia State is considered a PWI. It is actually a PBI. It is a predominantly black institution, not a historically black college and institution. Okay. It's a predominantly black institution. Matter of fact, Clayton State is one too. There's a couple of schools out there now.
Chicago State, I think, is considered one as well. So, yeah,
a couple of schools out there. They aren't HBCUs. They are PBIs, but that's not what we're talking about. But anyway, And I don't know how we got there, but, but we got there. But in the comments, though, y'all can leave who you think is going to win this game and why you think is going to win this game. I see a bunch of y'all talked about it a little earlier, and y'all got to hit that like button too. Hit that
like button, man.
Hit that. We got a lot of people out there watching, but we only got 3 likes, so we got to get some more likes. Blue Jacket for life. He was talking about it's going to rain in Albany. Yeah, I see that. He said that. A lot of folk. Albany State on a dry day. Blue Jacket said Albany State on a dry day, 31-20-21. Albany State on a rainy day, 21-14.
Okay.
Okay. And the question is, who does the rain help? That's the $1 million question.
For as much as Newberry throws the football, offensively, I think benefit Albany if it rains. Because I think whoever has the better running game, not even just better running game, whoever's passing game is less affected by the weather. State doesn't throw the ball as much as it literally throws the ball
70%.
Yeah, at least. So I think the balanced teams have the ability to kind of navigate the weather parts. So we'll see. I think they have the advantage right now.
And that's the thing. I do think Albany State, if it rains, Albany State will have the advantage because Newberry likes to throw the ball so much. And when you put the ball in the air, you have, a quarterback holding the ball, kind of scrambling or whatever. Things liable to happen with that wet ball. And then you throwing the ball, your receivers, and it could be a perfect pass, and they don't close their hands right or whatever on that reception. That ball pops out, tip drill. We ain't talking about Nelly. No, we ain't talking about a Nelly.
Boy, you talking about? I'm not even talking about that. Shot here.
I actually know one of the girls who was in the video. I went to high school with one of the girls.
We'll talk about that after.
We'll talk about that off air. We'll talk about that off air. Shout out to, she's a loving wife and mother.
Talking about that.
Talking about that off air. But yeah, shout out to you. Shout out to you. Cool girl. But anyway, Breezy Brown says Reed Sharpie are gonna have something to say during this game. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Listen. We are the SIAC sit down, but football is football. Reed Sharpie is a great quarterback in Hill. Saying so we know his status. We hey, listen, I'm pretty sure the defense of Albany State is not sleeping on this man.
No, they
aren't, as analysts, sleeping on him. You know better.
This ain't no Benedict quarterback right here you're going against. That's step over line. That's step over line. Okay. Yeah. Well, point being, man, he's gonna throw the ball, but I do think if it's a rainy day, that's going to slow them down a little bit. That's going to slow down those receivers because now you're in a rainy day, and it's talking about your cleats and your footing. When you have some of these receivers making these breaks, do they plant fully and make the break without slipping? Or can your DBs react to those breaks without slipping? That rain on that turf, man, that's a whole nother, that's a whole another thing.
That turf pretty. It is. You don't see the traction, and it could factor. I mean, you brought up a great point. Breaking on the ball. Newberry does a lot of unconventional passing as well. Their scramble drills are, get them a lot of yards. Sharpie, again, you talked about it. He'll go all the way to the sideline 2 or 3 yards, and boom, there it is. They've perfected that. Looking forward to a good matchup.
And then here's the thing, you have to figure out you got a guy like that. Everybody's going to be dirty blue with that. I was just thinking, down a couple times, that paint going to come off that Them jerseys going to look bluish. Them jerseys will look bluish by the time everything is said and done. But what I was about to say, I forgot. Oh, when it comes to a guy like that, a quarterback like that, I think you have to make him uncomfortable.
Yes.
You got to make him uncomfortable. And I don't know if he's been uncomfortable this year. And that's the $1 million question is how have you made him uncomfortable? And if you can get him off of his spot,
Yeah.
you can rush him into making a mistake because he's played almost when you have a quarterback who throws one interception during the whole year, he's almost played mistake free. He's all you when you see somebody who's thrown one interception, you realize he doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
No.
He's not gonna he's not gonna lose a game.
And I'm gonna tell you what else they are. Battle tested.
Yeah.
Because you look at the last, I think, 5 games, all of them have been close. They've been able to pull out games as well. So I think, this team is it's like a roach. You're gonna have to step on and make sure he's dead to close them out because they're always in games. I think their only loss is to Catawba. So
well, you go even further than 5.
Yeah.
You got that loss to Catawba. That was 21-10. Then Lenore Ryan, 2017, Wingate 43-42, Tusculum 35-28, Mars Hill 38-24. So that's 14 points, I guess. But then you get Emory 36-34, Anderson 24-21, Carson Newman 28-21. Then Kentucky State, you beat them 45-24. So you're right. They played a lot of close games.
Yeah,
they played a lot of close games. But I'm looking. They give up points.
They do.
They give up points.
They do.
And I don't think they've seen an offense like Albany State this year.
No, I don't think not as balanced.
I don't think they've seen a balanced offense like Albany State. So if you got a team, they give up points. They hadn't seen this good of an offense. If it was a dry day, I think this would definitely be a high-scoring affair. I think both teams will put up points, but I think because of that rain, it's going to be a little bit difficult for Newberry.
Okay.
Hey man, we about around that time, man.
We are about that time, man. It is about that time.
About that time, we gotta make a prediction.
I'm gonna let you make the prediction.
You let me make the prediction?
I'm gonna let you make the prediction.
Okay. Based on all the stuff I said, dealing with the rain, if it's gonna rain out there, so Sharpie, I don't think he's seen the defense that Kentucky State has. And what Kentucky State also does, they do a good job of masking blitzes. They can send players in and you don't really know what's coming. I said Kentucky State, I'm sorry. Albany State. Albany State does a good job of masking blitzes. They can send players off that edge.
They do.
And you don't know it's coming. Now, here's the thing with a quarterback like Sharpie. He's not a very tall guy. So him being in the pocket trying to throw the ball, he has to find a lane to throw it. And he doesn't throw the straight overhead pass. He throws like a 3/4 pass, trying to find that lane. So the thing is, you got to figure out how you're going to blitz Sharpie, how you're going to send your people in. Are you going to send them off the edge to get him out of that spot, or are you going to send him up the middle? He can't throw over you. That's how you got to figure out how you're going to blitz him. I do think Albany State has enough good defensive backs that where they can cover some of those athletes that Newberry has. And rest assured, Newberry has athletes on the inside.
They do.
They have receivers who will go and get it. All right. So this is going to be, I'm going to compare Newberry's receiving core to Kentucky State's receiving core.
Okay.
And I think Kentucky State had the best receiving core in the conference. When you look at
John McCall.
I think those were the best 3 as a unit receivers in the conference. And Kentucky State Albany State annihilated them. They took them behind the woodshed.
Okay.
So now Kentucky State's quarterbacks weren't as good as Shapiro.
Right.
But I do think Albany State will have enough. and I'm willing to say I think Albany State can put up probably 35 in this game.
Okay.
I think they'll put up 35. There's no way in hell they're gonna shut Newberry out.
No.
I think Newberry might get 21.
Okay.
They might get 21. I don't know what Vegas said on the over. But if they set the over under anywhere around 50, take the over.
Okay.
Take the over. If they set it anywhere around 50. But I do think if it rains, I can see Albany State winning by 2 to 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. I am on the call for this game on the 4-letter plus network. So I'm gonna stay away from the prediction. But I think, you know, there's a good chance. I think there's a really good chance, more than average chance. So it should be a good ball game.
It should be.
Yep.
Should be. Well, it's another week, man.
Listen, we keep extending these weeks. I love it. We keep extending these weeks, and it's all good. As long as the SIAC is playing, we gonna keep talking about it.
We're going to sit down.
Yes, we are.
We're going to sit down, man. Shout out to all the people out there checking us out. I see Beezy Brown talking about he's from good stock and good coaching. I guess Beezy's a Newberry guy. But yeah, man, shout out to all the people watching, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button. I need to do it. Y'all out there, make sure all of y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button, and make sure if you don't subscribe to HBCU Game Day, make sure you subscribe right now. If you're subscribing, we want to make sure you subscribe while you're watching our show.
Absolutely.
Because, that makes us look better. Matter of fact, if you are subscribed, go and unsubscribe, then subscribe back on our show. There you go.
Yeah, something like that.
Take it however we can get it.
Hey, listen.
We can get it. But yeah, man, he's Jamie Walker.
I am he.
I am Slider Sports Guy.
That is him.
And this is the SIAC Sit Down. All right, the graphic, Mr. Producer. We got to work on this producer, man. He still ain't put up the cartoon.